Remember when a weekend at the mall was freedom? When grabbing a pizza with friends, watching a movie, or buying a new outfit was effortless? Back then, life felt simple. Small pleasures, family dinners, road trips, birthday treats were part of the rhythm of everyday life. You didn't have to calculate every dollar. You could enjoy life without stress weighing over every decision. Today, that world feels distant, almost impossible to reach. Prices have climbed relentlessly. Wages have barely budged. Families are forced into impossible choices. Rent or groceries, gas or birthday presents, healthcare or savings. Even small luxuries, a night out at a restaurant, a weekend getaway, or a hobby, feel like indulgences they can't afford. It's not just numbers on a chart. It's parents working multiple jobs just to cover bills, children missing activities they once loved, and families delaying dreams indefinitely. Inflation, stagnant wages, skyrocketing housing, and rising healthcare costs have quietly reshaped American life. The comforts once taken for granted are vanishing, replaced by a daily struggle to survive. So, what exactly are the things Americans just can't afford anymore? From education to food, housing to leisure, we're about to explore the 10 essentials and small joys slipping away, the very markers of the fading American dream. Number 1. College tuition. A college education was once the ultimate pathway to opportunity, a stepping stone to the middle class and upward mobility. In the past, families could plan for tuition costs, apply for scholarships, and expect that working through college or taking out a modest loan would be manageable. Today, that path feels like a financial minefield. Tuition at both public and private universities has skyrocketed over the past decades. In-state college tuition at public universities has risen far faster than inflation, while private universities demand tens of thousands of dollars annually. And it's not just tuition. Room, board, books, and fees compound the cost. Many families are forced to make hard choices, put retirement on hold to pay for children's education, take out crushing loans, or forego college entirely. The student loan crisis is emblematic of this challenge. Millions of Americans graduate with tens of thousands of dollars in debt, often without the career security they expected. Entry-level salaries may barely cover rent, leaving them trapped in a cycle of financial struggle. Student loan forgiveness programs, while politically discussed, only partially address a decades-long trend of rising educational costs. Moreover, the rising cost of college affects not just the students, but the culture of education itself. For many, college has transformed from an opportunity to a risk, an investment that may or may not yield the promised returns. The emotional toll is immense. Dreams are deferred, family stress skyrockets, and young Americans often start adult life with significant financial anxiety. In a world where knowledge and skills are more critical than ever, the rising cost of higher education poses not just a financial problem, but a societal challenge. 2. Home ownership. Owning a home was once the cornerstone of the American dream. Families envisioned buying a modest house, raising children, and building wealth over decades. Suburban streets with white picket fences, tree-lined avenues, and neighborhoods where neighbors knew each other were the epitome of stability and success. That image is fading fast. Today, buying a home feels increasingly out of reach for millions of Americans. Median home prices have skyrocketed in nearly every major city and many suburban areas. The causes are layered: limited inventory, high demand, rising interest rates, and land scarcity have combined to create a market where a middle-class salary barely covers a down payment. Even in areas once considered affordable, prices are rising faster than incomes, forcing families to either compromise on location, size, or quality, or rent indefinitely. Mortgage rates, once predictable and manageable, fluctuate in ways that make financial planning uncertain. Many prospective buyers face the cruel reality that monthly payments could surpass what they currently pay in rent, leaving little room for savings, healthcare, or unexpected emergencies. The dream of building generational wealth through property ownership is slipping away for younger generations, with profound implications for family stability and long-term financial security. Emotionally, the impact is palpable. Young couples delay marriage or children because they cannot afford a home. Families live in cramped apartments, sacrificing personal space, privacy, and the sense of permanence that comes with home ownership. Communities, too, feel the effects. High property costs drive many workers away from the cities they serve, creating talent shortages in essential sectors like education, healthcare, and public service. Renting, once a temporary solution, is increasingly a permanent status for many. Skyrocketing rental prices mirror the housing market boom, leaving tenants trapped in apartments that feel more like financial cages than homes. The starter home, a modest property where a family could save, grow, and move up the ladder, is disappearing, replaced by luxury condos and high-end developments targeted at investors or the wealthy. The emotional weight of unaffordable housing extends beyond finances. It influences social mobility, mental health, and even cultural identity. In short, home ownership in America is no longer a guarantee. It is a privilege. Rising costs, coupled with wage stagnation and inflation, have turned a key pillar of the American dream into an aspiration that fewer and fewer can achieve. The impact stretches far beyond the individual. It shapes neighborhoods, economies, and the fabric of society itself. For millions, the dream home is no longer a reachable reality, but a distant memory of what life used to offer. 3. Healthcare and prescriptions. Healthcare in America has always been a source of tension, but in recent decades, it has transformed into one of the most significant financial pressures for families. What was once a manageable part of life, doctor visits, prescriptions, minor surgeries, has become a source of anxiety and, in many cases, impossible financial burden. The costs are staggering. Premiums for insurance plans have skyrocketed, often outpacing wage growth. Deductibles and co-pays mean that even insured families face hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars in out-of-pocket expenses before coverage kicks in. Prescription drugs, once affordable or moderately priced, now carry eye-popping costs, with even basic medications stretching monthly budgets to the breaking point. The stress of healthcare costs is not just financial, it's emotional. Individuals and families experience constant worry, uncertainty, and fear. Unexpected illnesses or accidents can push a family into bankruptcy overnight. Even seemingly minor medical events, a broken bone, a sudden infection, or a routine surgery, carry the potential to derail an entire household's finances. The healthcare struggle is also shaping American culture and decision-making. Many young people delay starting families, moving out, or pursuing careers that might offer fulfillment but lack comprehensive health benefits. Mental health issues are rising as financial stress and access barriers exacerbate anxiety and depression. Ultimately, the rising cost of healthcare and prescriptions is not just about money. It's about freedom, dignity, and security. Families once able to plan for emergencies now live with constant anxiety. Americans are forced to navigate life under the shadow of unaffordable care, a silent crisis affecting health, wealth, and hope for the future. 4. Retirement savings. Retirement used to feel like a distant but attainable milestone. Many Americans imagined a life after work filled with travel, hobbies, and peace of mind. Saving a portion of each paycheck, investing wisely, and building pensions provided a sense of security. Today, that sense of certainty has all but vanished. The rising cost of living, stagnant wages, and crushing debt make saving for retirement nearly impossible for millions. Social Security, once a reliable foundation, is increasingly uncertain, forcing younger generations to consider longer work years or reduced lifestyles in retirement. Many find themselves delaying retirement indefinitely, working into their 60s or even 70s simply to make ends meet. Emotionally, this shift is heavy. Families feel trapped in a cycle where earning, spending, and surviving dominate every decision. In essence, retirement is no longer a guaranteed reward for hard work. It's a privilege reserved for those who either started with wealth inherited assets, or somehow managed to outpace inflation and living costs. For millions, the promise of a secure retirement is slipping away, leaving a generation struggling to survive today while hoping for some semblance of security tomorrow. 5. Childcare and education. Childcare and education were once manageable expenses for middle-class families, with daycare centers, public schools, and extracurricular activities accessible to many. Parents could balance work and family life without sacrificing stability. That balance has changed drastically. The cost of daycare, preschool, and private schooling has skyrocketed, putting enormous pressure on working families. Many parents are forced to make impossible choices, one parent leaving the workforce entirely, relying on extended family, or enrolling children in overcrowded programs with high tuition fees. For some, affordable childcare is simply unavailable in their area. Education beyond daycare also strains household budgets. College tuition continues to rise, creating the perfect storm of debt for students and their families. Even K-12 private schools, extracurricular sports, and enrichment programs, once considered optional, feel like luxuries many cannot afford. These rising costs affect not only finances, but also life choices, career planning, and family growth. The emotional toll is heavy. Parents work longer hours, often juggling multiple jobs, yet still struggle to provide safe, nurturing environments for their children. Ultimately, childcare and education have become a battleground between aspiration and reality. Families are forced to compromise, prioritize survival over enrichment, and rethink the very idea of what raising children means in today's economy. The American dream of providing opportunity and security for the next generation is now an uphill battle for many households. 6. Fresh groceries and healthy food. Eating well, once a simple part of everyday life, has become increasingly difficult. Fresh produce, high-quality meats, and health-conscious foods are no longer easy for every American to afford. Grocery bills have risen steadily, fueled by inflation, supply chain disruptions, and increased transportation costs. Many families are adjusting by buying cheaper processed foods, sacrificing nutrition for cost. Fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins, once staples in households, are replaced by canned, frozen, or high-calorie alternatives. This shift affects not only physical health but also long-term well-being, increasing risks for chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. The emotional impact is just as profound. Parents feel guilt over what they can't provide, trying to balance budgets while ensuring their children eat enough and stay healthy. Grocery inflation also reshapes the shopping experience. Families visit multiple stores, hunt for discounts, or forgo fresh options entirely. Food insecurity, once rare for middle-class households, is becoming more widespread. Even farmers' markets and organic options, once accessible alternatives for healthier lifestyles, are priced out of reach for many. In short, eating well in America is no longer guaranteed. Fresh groceries and healthy food, symbols of a balanced and stable life, are now luxuries for many. 7. Cars and gas. Cars have long symbolized freedom in America, the ability to explore, commute, and live life on your own schedule. But today, owning and maintaining a car has become increasingly challenging for many households. The rising costs of car payments, insurance, and maintenance are only part of the problem. Gas prices fluctuate unpredictably, often spiking when families can least afford it. Electric vehicles promise a future of efficiency, but upfront costs remain prohibitive for average consumers. Even used cars, once an affordable alternative, are priced higher due to supply shortages and increased demand. Commuters are feeling the pressure. Long drives to work, school, or shopping now come with financial stress attached to every mile. Public transportation, while available in some cities, often fails to meet the needs of suburban families or those in smaller towns. Car ownership isn't just about convenience anymore. It's about managing a critical financial burden. The emotional impact is significant. Families must make difficult choices, delay buying a car, reduce trips, or spend an ever larger portion of their budget on transportation. Young adults may postpone independence, relying on parents longer than previous generations. The dream of hitting the open road, spontaneous trips, or weekend adventures is fading for many. Ultimately, cars and gas, once symbols of American mobility and personal freedom, have become costly luxuries. The balance between practicality and desire is shifting, and families are forced to rethink how they navigate daily life. 8. Vacations and travel. Vacations were once a simple pleasure, a chance to disconnect, explore, and make memories. Airlines, hotels, and road trips made travel accessible to middle-class families. Today, the cost of flights, hotels, and even basic tourism has skyrocketed, making travel increasingly difficult to justify. Inflation, rising fuel costs, and the post-pandemic surge in demand have pushed prices far beyond what many families can afford. A weekend getaway or summer trip is no longer a casual expense. It's a carefully calculated financial decision. Luxury vacations are out of reach for most, while even moderate trips require significant budgeting and sacrifice. The emotional toll is real. Families feel the frustration of wanting to experience life beyond their hometowns, but being held back by economic realities. Travel costs also extend beyond flights and hotels. Attractions, dining, and even local transportation add up quickly, further limiting options. The cumulative effect is that exploration, discovery, and leisure, essential components of a fulfilling life, are increasingly unattainable for the average American. In essence, vacations and travel, once simple pleasures, are now financial luxuries. For many, the dream of taking a family trip or exploring new destinations is shrinking, replaced by careful budgeting and compromise. 9. Entertainment and dining out. Eating out, going to movies, or enjoying live entertainment were once affordable ways to relax and connect. Today, rising costs and changing lifestyles have made these simple joys harder to access. Ticket prices for movies, concerts, and theater have risen, while streaming has replaced some live entertainment, but not without a price. Dining out, especially at popular restaurants or fast food chains, has become a calculated expense. Even casual nights out require budgeting, often at the cost of other necessities. Inflation, wage stagnation, and rising overhead for restaurants have combined to push costs higher for consumers. For many families, eating out or enjoying a night of entertainment now feels like a luxury rather than a normal part of life. The casual enjoyment of culture, community, and food is increasingly out of reach. The emotional impact is clear. Families and friends feel constrained, forced to prioritize survival over leisure. Ultimately, entertainment and dining out, the cultural glue and emotional outlets of daily life, are fading from reach for average Americans. 10. Hobbies and leisure. Hobbies and personal passions have always provided relief from stress, a sense of purpose, and joy. Whether it's sports, gaming, crafting, or fitness, Americans once had the time, energy, and resources to pursue these interests. Today, rising costs, longer work hours, and financial strain leave many with little room for leisure. Gym memberships, club fees, or sports equipment now compete with bills, rent, and groceries. Electronics, instruments, and other hobby-related purchases are considered optional and often postponed indefinitely. Even social hobbies like joining clubs or attending classes are increasingly unaffordable. The emotional toll is profound. People feel their lives have shrunk to survival. Work, bills, and obligations dominate every day. Hobbies that once brought balance, creativity, and fulfillment are sacrificed, leaving stress and monotony. Families and individuals struggle to find time or money for the things that once made life enjoyable. Technology partially fills the gap, but screen-based entertainment can't replace the tactile, social, and physical benefits of hands-on hobbies. Personal passions are being sidelined, eroding a critical component of mental health and self-expression. In short, hobbies and leisure, once essential for a balanced, meaningful life, are increasingly out of reach. The freedom to explore, create, and enjoy personal interests is becoming a privilege rather than a right, reflecting the broader financial pressures reshaping daily life for millions of Americans. The America many of us grew up in, where simple pleasures were accessible, life felt balanced, and dreams seemed attainable, is changing rapidly. College, homeownership, healthy food, travel, dining out, hobbies, the very experiences that defined a normal life are slipping out of reach for countless families. These changes aren't just about money. They shape how people feel, how families interact, and how communities function. They affect mental health, relationships, and the very concept of the American dream. Nostalgia highlights the contrast, making the present reality feel harsher and underscoring just how much has shifted. But there's a deeper lesson. Awareness is the first step toward action. Understanding how economic pressures and lifestyle shifts are reshaping life can guide personal decisions, from budgeting to career planning, from investments to family priorities. It also sheds light on the structural issues affecting society: inflation, stagnant wages, rising costs, and the growing gap between what people earn and what life costs. Which of these 10 things hits you hardest? Which do you miss most? The meals, the trips, the hobbies, or the simple stability of everyday life? Drop your thoughts in the comments and share your story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Living Wise Global, your window into America's changing story, where we explore the realities shaping modern life.